Moncton is a Canadian city located in Westmorland County in southeastern New Brunswick. Situated in the Petitcodiac River Valley, Moncton lies at the geographic centre of the Maritime Provinces. The city has earned the nickname Hub City, because of his central location and also because Moncton has historically been the railway and land transportation hub for the Maritimes. The city proper has a population of 69,074 and covers 142 km². The Moncton CMA has a population of 138,644. The CMA includes the neighbouring city of Dieppe and the town of Riverview, as well as adjacent suburban areas in Westmorland and Albert counties. Although the Moncton area was originally settled in 1733, Moncton is considered to have been officially founded in 1766 with the arrival of Pennsylvania Dutch immigrants from Philadelphia. Initially an agricultural settlement, Moncton was not incorporated until 1855. The city was named for Lieutenant Colonel Robert Moncton, the British officer who had captured nearby Fort Bosa copyright a century earlier. A significant wooden shipbuilding industry had developed in the community by the mid-1840s, allowing for the civic incorporation in 1855, but the shipbuilding economy collapsed in the 1860s, causing the town to subsequently lose its civic charter in 1862. Moncton regained its charter in 1875 after the community's economy rebounded, mainly due to a growing railway industry. In 1871, the Intercolonial Railway of Canada had chosen Moncton to be its headquarters, and Moncton remained a railroad town for well over a century until the closure of the Canadian National Railway locomotive shops in the late 1980s. Although the economy of Moncton was traumatized by the collapse of the shipbuilding industry in the 1860s and by the closure of the Siena locomotive shops in the 1980s, the city was able to rebound strongly on both occasions. The city adopted the motto Resurgo after its rebirth as a railway town. At present, the city's economy is stable and diversified, primarily based on its traditional transportation, distribution, retailing, and commercial heritage, but also supplemented by strength in the educational, healthcare, financial, information technology, and insurance sectors. The strength of the economy has received national recognition and the local unemployment rate is consistently less than the national average. History. Acadians first settled the head of the Bay of Fundy in the 1670s. The first reference to the Petitcodiac River was on the de Meules map of 1686. Settlement of the Petitcodiac and ๊mʌŋktən River valleys began about 1700, gradually extending inland and reaching the site of present-day Moncton in 1733. The first Acadian settlers in the Moncton area established a marshland farming community and chose to name their settlement Lacoud. In 1755, nearby Fort Bosa was captured by English forces under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Robert Moncton. The Beaverson region including the ๊mʌŋktən and Petitcodiac River valleys subsequently fell under English control. Later that year, Governor Charles Lawrence issued a decree ordering the expulsion of the Acadian population from Nova Scotia. This action came to be known as the Great Upheaval. The reaches of the upper Petitcodiac River Valley then came under the control of the Philadelphia Land Company and in 1766 Pennsylvania Dutch settlers arrived to re-establish the pre-existing farming community at Lacoud. The settlers consisted of 8 families. Heinrich Stieff, Jacob Treitz, Matthias Sommer, Jacob Rieker, Charles Jones, George Wertman, Michael Lutz, and George Koppel. There is a plaque dedicated in their honor at the mouth of Halls Creek. They renamed the settlement The Bend. The Bend remained an agricultural settlement for nearly 80 more years. Even by 1836, there were only 20 households in the community. At this time, the Westmorland Road became open to year-round travel and a regular mail coach service was established between St. John and Halifax. The Bend became an important transfer and rest station along the route. Over the next decade, lumbering and then shipbuilding would become important industries in the area. The turning point for the community was when Joseph Salter built a shipyard at the Bend that ultimately resulted in the employment of about 1,000 workers. The Bend subsequently developed a service-based economy to support the shipyard and gradually began to acquire all the amenities of a growing town. The prosperity engendered by the wooden shipbuilding industry allowed the Bend to incorporate as the town of Moncton in 1855. The town was named for Lieutenant Colonel Robert Moncton, but a clerical error at the time the town was incorporated resulted in the misspelling of the community's name, which has been perpetuated to the present day. The first mayor of Moncton was the shipbuilder Joseph Salter. 2 years later, in 1857, the European and North American Railway opened its line from Moncton to nearby Kodiak. This was followed by a line from Moncton to St. John opening in 1859. At about the time of the arrival of the railway, the popularity of steam-powered ships forced an end to the era of wooden shipbuilding. The resulting industrial collapse caused Moncton to surrender its civic charter in 1862. Moncton's economic depression did not last long and a second era of prosperity came to the area in 1871 when Moncton was selected to be the headquarters of the Intercolonial Railway of Canada. The arrival of the ICR in Moncton was a seminal event for the community. For the next 120 years, the history of the city would be firmly linked with that of the railway. In 1875, Moncton was able to reincorporate as a town and adopted the motto Resurgo. 1 year later, the ICR line to Quebec was opened. The railway boom that emanated from this and the associated employment growth allowed Moncton to achieve city status on April 23, 1890. Moncton grew rapidly during the early 20th century, particularly after provincial lobbying helped the city become the eastern terminus of the massive National Transcontinental Railway project in 1912. In 1918, the ICR and NTR were merged by the federal government into the newly formed Canadian National Railways system. The ICR shops would become CNR's major locomotive repair facility for the Maritimes and Moncton became the headquarters for CNR's Maritime division. The T. Eaton Company's catalogue warehouse moved to the city in the early 1920s, employing over 700 people. Transportation and distribution became increasingly important to the Moncton economy throughout the middle part of the 20th century. The Moncton Airport opened in 1929 and quickly became an important fixture in the community. During the Second World War the Canadian Army built a large military supply base in the city to service the maritime military establishment. The CNR continued to dominate the economy of the city with railway employment in Moncton peaked at nearly 6,000 workers in the 1950s before beginning a slow decline. Moncton was placed on the Trans-Canada Highway network in the early 1960s after Route 2 was built along the northern perimeter of the city. Subsequent developments saw Route 15 built between the city and Kodiak. At the same time, the Petitcodiac River Causeway was constructed. The Université Copyright de Moncton was founded in 1963. This institution became an important resource in the development of Acadian culture in the area. The late 1970s and the 1980s again saw a period of economic hardship hit the city as several major employers closed or restructured. The Eaton's Catalogue Division, CNR's Locomotive Shops Facility and CFB Moncton were all closed during this time, throwing thousands of citizens out of work. Diversification in the early 1990s saw the rise of information technology, led by call centers which made use of the city's bilingual workforce. By the late 1990s, retail, manufacturing and service expansion began to occur in all sectors and within a decade of the closure of the CNR locomotive shops Moncton had more than made up for its employment losses. This dramatic turnaround in the fortunes of the city has been termed the Moncton Miracle. The growth of the community has continued unabated since the 1990s and has actually been accelerating. The confidence of the community has been bolstered by its ability to host major events such as the Francophony Summit in 1999, a Rolling Stones concert in 2005, the Memorial Cup in 2006 and both the IAAF World Junior Championships in athletics and a neutral site regular season CFL football game in 2010. Recent positive developments include the Atlantic Baptist University, later renamed Crandall University, achieving full university status and relocating to a new campus in 1996, the Greater Moncton Airport opening a new terminal building and becoming a designated international airport in 2002, and the opening of the new Gunninsville Bridge to Riverview in 2005. In 2002, Moncton became Canada's first officially bilingual city. In the 2006 census, Moncton was officially designated a census metropolitan area and became the largest metropolitan area in the province of New Brunswick. Geography. Moncton lies in southeastern New Brunswick, at the geographic centre of the Maritime Provinces. The city is located along the north bank of the Petitcodiac River at a point where the river bends acutely from a west-east to north-south flow. This geographical feature has contributed significantly to historical names given to the community. Petitcodiac in the Mi'kmaq language has been translated as meaning bends like a bow. The early Acadian settlers in the region named their community Lacoud, which means the elbow. Subsequent English immigrants changed the name of the settlement to the bend of the Petitcodiac. The Petitcodiac River Valley at Moncton is broad and relatively flat, bounded by a long ridge to the north and by the rugged Caledonia Highlands to the south. Moncton lies at the original head of navigation on the river, however a causeway to Riverview resulted in extensive sedimentation of the river channel downstream and rendered the Moncton area of the waterway unnavigable. On April 14, 2010, the causeway gates were opened in an effort to restore the silt-laden river. Tidal Bore. The Petitcodiac River exhibits one of North America's few tidal bores, a regularly occurring wave that travels up the river on the leading edge of the incoming tide. The bore is as a result of the extreme tides of the Bay of Fundy. Originally, the bore was very impressive, sometimes between 1 and 2 meters in height and extending across the 1-kilometer width of the Petitcodiac River in the Moncton area. This wave would occur twice a day at high tide, traveling at an average speed of 13 km per hour and producing an audible roar. Unsurprisingly, the bore became a very popular early tourist attraction for the city, but when the Petitcodiac Causeway was built in the 1960s, the river channel quickly silted in and reduced the bore so that it rarely exceeds 15 to 20 centimeters in height. On April 14, 2010, the causeway gates were opened in an effort to restore the silt-laden river. A recent tidal bore since the opening of the causeway gates measured a 2-foot-high wave, unseen for many years. Nearby natural features. There are many natural attractions near Moncton. 2 major national parks, Fundy National Park and Couchbergoch National Park, are within a 1-hour drive of the city. The warmest saltwater beaches north of Virginia can be found on the Northumberland Strait, only 15 minutes away at Parlee Beach in the nearby town of Kodiak. New Brunswick's signature natural attraction, the Hopewell Rocks, are a half-hour's drive down the Petitcodiac River Valley. Cape Enrage, located near Alma, includes a historic lighthouse, fossil cliffs, scenic vistas, and adventure tourism. The Sackville Waterfowl Park includes nature trails and a boardwalk over a freshwater marsh as well as waterfowl viewing platforms. Other nearby attractions include the Cape Joraman National Wildlife Preserve, La Dune de Bouctouche Eco Centre, and the Joggins Fossil Cliffs in Nova Scotia. A UNESCO World Heritage Site. Climate. Despite being less than 50 km from the Bay of Fundy and less than 30 km from the Northumberland Strait, the climate tends to be more continental than maritime during the summer and winter seasons, with maritime influences somewhat tempering the transitional seasons of spring and autumn. Moncton has a warm summer continental climate with uniform precipitation distribution. Winter days are typically cold but generally sunny with solar radiation generating some warmth. Daytime high temperatures usually range a few degrees below the freezing point. Major snowfalls can result from nor'easter ocean storms moving up the east coast of North America. These major snowfalls typically average 20–30 cm and are frequently mixed with rain or freezing rain. Spring is frequently delayed because the sea ice that forms in the nearby Gulf of St. Lawrence during the previous winter requires time to melt, and this will cool onshore winds, which can extend inland as far as Moncton. The ice burden in the Gulf has diminished considerably over the course of the last decade, and the springtime cooling effect has weakened as a result. Daytime temperatures above freezing are typical by late February. Trees are usually in full leaf by late May. Summers are hot and humid due to the seasonal prevailing westerly winds strengthening the continental tendencies of the local climate. Daytime highs sometimes reach more than 30 degrees Celsius. Rainfall is generally modest, especially in late July and August, and periods of drought are not uncommon. Autumn daytime temperatures remain mild until late October. First snowfalls usually do not occur until late November and consistent snow cover on the ground does not happen until late December. The Fundy coast of New Brunswick occasionally experiences the effects of post-tropical storms. The stormiest weather of the year, with the greatest precipitation and the strongest winds, usually occurs during the fall-winter transition. Cityscape. Moncton generally remains a low-rise city. The city's skyline however encompasses many buildings and structures with varying architectural styles from many periods. The most dominant structure in the city is the Bell Alliant Tower, a 127 meters microwave communications tower built in 1971. When it was constructed, it was the tallest microwave communications tower of its kind in North America. It remains the tallest structure in Moncton, dwarfing the neighbouring Place La unregistered trademark Assumption by 46 metres. Assumption Place is a 20-storey office building and is the headquarters of Assumption Mutual Life Insurance. This building is 81 metres in height and is tied with Brunswick Square, as the tallest building in the province. The Blue Cross Centre is a large 9-storey building in downtown Moncton. Although only 9 stories tall, the building is architecturally distinctive, encompasses a full city block, and is the largest office building in the city in terms of square footage. It is the home of Medavi Blue Cross and the Moncton Public Library. There are about a half dozen other buildings in Moncton that range between 8 and 12 stories in height, including the Delta Bossier and Brunswick Crown Plaza hotels and the Terminal Plaza office complex. Urban parks. The most popular park in the area is Centennial Park, which contains an artificial beach, lighted cross-country skiing and hiking trails, the city's largest playground, lawn bowling and tennis facilities, a boating pond, a treetop adventure course, and Rocky Stonefield, a city-owned 2,500-seat football stadium with artificial turf, and home to the Moncton Minor Football Association. The city's other main parks are Mapleton Park in the city's north end, Irishdown Nature Park and St Anselm Park. The numerous neighbourhood parks throughout the Metro Moncton area include Boreview Park, and the Downtown Victoria Park, which features a bandshell, flower gardens, fountain, and the city's cenotaph. There is an extensive system of hiking and biking trails in Metro Moncton. The Riverfront Trail is part of the Trans-Canada Trail system, and various monuments and pavilions can be found along its length. Demographics. Moncton's linguistic majority is English, though the city has an active French-speaking Acadian minority population. Almost all Monctonians speak English or French as first languages. 1.6% speak both languages as a first language, and 6.9% speak another language. About 46% of the city population is bilingual and understands both English and French. The only other Canadian cities that approach this level of linguistic duality are Ottawa, Sudbury, and Montreal. Moncton became the first officially bilingual city in the country in 2002. The adjacent city of Dieppe is about 73% francophone and has benefited from an ongoing rural depopulation of the Acadian Peninsula and areas in northern and eastern New Brunswick. The town of Riverview meanwhile is heavily anglophone. The census metropolitan area grew by 9.7% between 2006 and 2011, the fastest such rate of any metropolitan area in Atlantic Canada. The census metropolitan area had a population of 138,644 as of the 2011 national census, which makes it the largest metropolitan area in the province of New Brunswick and the second largest in the Maritime Provinces after Halifax. The 2013 estimated CMA population is 144,941. The CMA includes the city of Dieppe, town of Riverview, Moncton Parish, Memramcook, Coverdale Parish, and Salisbury. Historically, The population of the city has been racially homogeneous, with almost all residents originating from northwestern Europe. Migration is currently mostly from other areas of New Brunswick as well as Nova Scotia and Ontario. 62% of new arrivals to the city are Anglophone and 38% are Francophone. Economy. The underpinnings of the local economy are based on Moncton's heritage as a commercial, distribution, transportation, and retailing centre. This is due to Moncton's central location in the Maritimes. It has the largest catchment area in Atlantic Canada, with 1.6 million people living within a 3-hour drive of the city. The insurance, information technology, educational, and healthcare sectors also are major factors in the local economy, with the city's 2 hospitals alone employing over 5,000 people. Moncton has garnered national attention because of the strength of its economy. The local unemployment rate averages around 6%, which is below the national average. In 2004, Canadian Business magazine named it the best city for business in Canada, and in 2007 FDI magazine named it the 5th most business-friendly small-sized city in North America. A number of nationally or regionally prominent corporations have their head offices in Moncton, including Atlantic Lottery Corporation, Assumption Life Insurance, Medavie Blue Cross Insurance, Armour Transportation Systems, Invescore, Major Drilling Group International, PropertyGuys.com, and Co-op Atlantic. There are 37 call centres in the city which employ over 5,000 people. Some of the larger centres include Asurion, Numeris, ExxonMobil, Royal Bank of Canada, Tangerine Bank, UPS, Fairmont Hotels and Resorts, Rogers Communications, and SET. A growing high-tech sector includes companies such as G-Tech, Nanoptics, International Game Technology, OAO Technology Solutions, TrustMe, and Beltec Systems Design. Several arms of the Irving corporate empire have their head offices and/or major operations in Greater Moncton. These include Midland Transport, Majesta Royale Tissues, Irving Personal Care, Master Packaging, Brunswick News, and Cavendish Farms. Kent Building Supplies recently opened their main distribution centre in the Caledonia Industrial Park in 2014. The Irving Group of companies employs several thousand people in the Moncton region. There are 3 large industrial parks in the metropolitan area. The Irving operations are concentrated in the Dieppe Industrial Park. The Moncton Industrial Park in the city's West End has recently undergone an expansion. Molson Coors opened a brewery in the Caledonia Industrial Park in 2007, their first new brewery in over 50 years. All 3 industrial parks also have large concentrations of warehousing and regional trucking facilities. A new 4-lane Gunninsville Bridge was opened in 2005, connecting downtown Riverview directly with downtown Moncton. On the Moncton side, the bridge connects with an extension of Vaughan Harvey Boulevard as well as to Assumption Boulevard and will serve as a catalyst for economic growth in the downtown area. This has become already evident as an expansion to the Blue Cross Centre was completed in 2006 and a Marriott Residence Inn opened in 2008. The new regional law courts on Assumption Boulevard opened in 2011. Momentum is also building for a new downtown 9 to 10,000 seat multi-purpose event center and arena. On the Riverview side, the Gunninsville Bridge now connects to a new ring road around the town and is expected to serve as a catalyst for development in East Riverview. The retail sector in Moncton has become one of the most important pillars of the local economy. Major retail projects such as Champlain Place in Dieppe and the Wheeler Park Power Centre on Trinity Drive have become major destinations for locals and for tourists alike. Champlain Place has recently undergone a $14 million renovation and several new retail centres are planned or under construction on Mapleton Road in the northwestern portion of the city. Both Bass Pro Shops and Cabers will be opening in the city in 2015. Tourism is an important industry in Moncton and historically owes its origins to the presence of 2 natural attractions, the tidal bore of the Petitcodiac River and the optical illusion of Magnetic Hill. The tidal bore was the first phenomenon to become an attraction, but the construction of the Petitcodiac Causeway in the 1960s effectively extirpated the attraction. Today, Magnetic Hill, on the city's northwest outskirts, is the city's most famous attraction. The Magnetic Hill area includes a golf course, major water park, zoo, and an outdoor concert facility. A $90 million casino entertainment complex opened at Magnetic Hill in 2010. Arts and culture. Moncton's Capitol Theatre, an 800-seat restored 1920s-era vaudeville house on Main Street, is the main centre for cultural entertainment for the city. The theatre hosts a performing arts series and provides a venue for various theatrical performances as well as Symphony New Brunswick and the Atlantic Ballet Theatre of Canada. The adjacent Empress Theatre offers space for smaller performances and recitals. The Moncton-based Atlantic Ballet Theatre tours mainly in Atlantic Canada but also tours nationally and internationally on occasion. Thal Centre Lescauet is a francophone live theatre company which has its own auditorium and performance space on Boatsford Street. The anglophone Live Bait Theatre is based in the nearby university town of Sackville. There are several private dance and music academies in the metropolitan area, including the Capitol Theatre's own performing arts school. The Aberdeen Cultural Centre is a major Acadian cultural cooperative containing multiple studios and galleries. Among other tenants, the centre houses the Gallery Sans Nom, the principal private art gallery in the city. The city's two main museums are the Moncton Museum on Mountain Road and the Musée Copyright Acadien at Université Copyright de Moncton. The Moncton Museum recently reopened following major renovations and an expansion to include the Transportation Discovery Centre. The Discovery Centre includes many hands-on exhibits highlighting the city's transportation heritage. The city also has several recognized historical sites. The Free Meeting House was built in 1821 and is a New England-style meeting house located adjacent to the Moncton Museum. The Thomas Williams House, a former home of a city industrialist built in 1883, is now maintained in period style and serves as a genealogical research center and is also home to several multicultural organizations. The Trites House is located on the riverfront adjacent to Bourview Park and has been dated to 1769 both by architectural style and by dendrochronology. It is the only surviving building from the Pennsylvania Dutch era and is the oldest surviving building in the province of New Brunswick. Moncton is home to the Frye Festival, an annual bilingual literary celebration held in honor of world-renowned literary critic and favorite son Northrop Frye. This event attracts noted writers and poets from around the world and takes place in the month of April. The Atlantic National's Automotive Extravaganza, held each July, is the largest annual gathering of classic cars in Canada. Other notable events include the Atlantic Seafood Festival in August, the Hubcap Comedy Festival, and the World Wine Festival, both held in the spring. Sports, facilities. The Moncton Coliseum is a 6,554-seat arena which serves as a venue for major concerts and trade shows and is the home of the Moncton Wildcats of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. The CN Sport Plex is a major recreational facility which has been built on the former CN Shops property. It includes 10 ball fields, 6 soccer fields, an indoor rink complex with 4 ice surfaces and the Dundee Sports Dome, an indoor air-supported multi-use building. The Sports Dome is large enough to allow for year-round football, soccer and golf activities. A newly constructed YMCA near the CN Sportsplex has extensive cardio and weight training facilities, as well as 3 indoor pools. The CEPS at Université Copyright de Moncton contains an indoor track and a 37.5 metres swimming pool with diving towers. The new Moncton Stadium, also located at the UDM campus, was built for the 2010 IAAF World Junior Track and Field Championships. It has a permanent seating for 10,000, but is expandable to a capacity of over 20,000 for events such as professional Canadian football. The only velodrome in Atlantic Canada is in Dieppe. The metro area has a total of 12 indoor hockey rinks and 3 curling clubs. Other public sporting and recreational facilities are scattered throughout the metropolitan area, including a new $18 million aquatic center in Dieppe opened in 2009. Greater Moncton has many golfing facilities. There are 9 18-hole golf courses in the census metropolitan area, 4 of which are residential courses with course-side housing developments either existing or under construction. Both the Royal Oaks and Fox Creek Golf Clubs can be considered championship courses, with Royal Oaks being the first Rhys Jones-designed golf course in Canada. Other notable courses include the Moncton Golf and Country Club, Memramcook Valley Golf Club and the Mountain Woods Golf Club. Sports teams: the Moncton Wildcats play Major Junior Hockey in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. They won the President's Cup, the QMJHL Championship in both 2006 and 2010. The Moncton Mets play baseball in the New Brunswick Senior Baseball League and won the Canadian Senior Baseball Championship in 2006. The Dieppe Commandos are a member of the Maritime Junior Hockey League. The Université de Moncton has a number of active CIS university sports programs including hockey, soccer, and volleyball. These teams are a part of the Canadian Inter-University Sport Program. Historically, Moncton was home to a professional American Hockey League franchise from 1978 to 1994. The New Brunswick Hawks won the AHL Calder Cup by defeating the Binghamton Whalers in 1981 to 1982. In 2011, the Moncton Miracles began play as one of the 7 charter franchises of the Professional National Basketball League of Canada. Major events: Moncton has hosted many large sporting events. The 2006 Memorial Cup was held in Moncton with the hometown Moncton Wildcats losing in the championship final to rival Quebec Remparts. Moncton hosted the Canadian Inter-University Sports Men's University Hockey Championship in 2007 and 2008. The World Men's Curling Championship was held in Moncton in 2009. The second time this event has taken place in the city. Moncton also hosted the 2010 IAAF World Junior Championships in Athletics. This was the largest sporting event ever held in Atlantic Canada, with athletes from over 170 countries in attendance. The new 10,000-seat capacity Moncton Stadium was built for this event on the Université Copyright de Moncton campus. The construction of this new stadium led directly to Moncton being awarded a regular season neutral site CFL game between the Toronto Argonauts and the Edmonton Eskimos, which was held on September 26, 2010. This was the first neutral site regular season game in the history of the Canadian Football League and was played before a capacity crowd of 20,750. Moncton will be one of 6 Canadian cities to host the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup. Major sporting events hosted by Moncton include tourism, entertainment and shopping. Magnetic Hill is on the northwestern outskirts of Moncton and is now the city's most famous attraction. It is a gravity hill optical illusion, where the local topography gives the impression that you are going uphill when in fact you are going downhill. The Magnetic Hill illusion is a popular tourism draw and both the city and province have built major tourism developments on the surrounding properties to capitalize on this. The complex includes the Magnetic Hill Zoo, a nationally accredited and award-winning zoo with over 400 animals displayed in themed exhibit areas. It is the largest zoo in Atlantic Canada, has well-developed and popular educational program, and has recently been ranked as the 4th best zoo in Canada. Also on site is Magic Mountain Water Park, the largest water park in Atlantic Canada, with a half-dozen large water slides, a lazy river, wave pool, children's splash pool, and a 36-hole mini-golf course. The Magnetic Hill Concert Site, a large outdoor concert facility which holds 1 or 2 large concerts every year, is located nearby. The Rolling Stones performed there in 2005 in front of 85,000 fans. More recently, the Eagles played there in the summer of 2008 in front of 55,000 fans. Both AC/DC and Bon Jovi played at the Hill in 2009, with the crowd for the AC/DC concert exceeding 70,000. The Magnetic Hill Concert Site has developed a reputation for holding the largest concert productions in the entire country. U2 played the final concert of their worldwide U2 360° tour at Magnetic Hill on July 30, 2011. The Casino New Brunswick, which also encompasses a hotel and 2,000-seat entertainment venue, also opened at Magnetic Hill in 2010. The performance space at the Casino New Brunswick has already hosted many top acts on the casino circuit. At present, the major destinations for shopping enthusiasts in Greater Moncton are the Northwest Centre, and the Wheeler Park Power Centre in Moncton, and Champlain Place in Dieppe, which, at 816,000 square feet, is the largest shopping mall in Atlantic Canada and has over 160 stores and services. The Crystal Palace complex is adjacent to Champlain Place and is co-managed by Cadillac Fairview. It includes a Chapters bookstore, multiplex cinema complex and will include a Bass Pro Shop opening in 2015. Government. The municipal government consists of a mayor and 10 city councillors elected to 4-year terms of office. The council is non-partisan with the mayor serving as the chairman, casting a ballot only in cases of a tie vote. There are 4 wards electing 2 councillors each with an additional 2 councillors selected at large by the general electorate. Day-to-day operation of the city is under the control of a city manager. The Greater Moncton area contains 9 of New Brunswick's 49 provincial electoral districts: Moncton Centre, Moncton East, Moncton South, Moncton Southwest, Moncton Northwest, Dieppe, Kodiak Bay Dieppe, Riverview and Albert. Of the 9 members of the Legislative Assembly that currently represent Greater Moncton, 5 belong to the Liberal Party and 4 belong to the Progressive Conservative Party. Moncton is in the federal riding of Moncton Riverview Dieppe. Portions of Dieppe are in the federal riding of Beauce-Copyright-Jour, and portions of Riverview are in the riding of Fundy Royal. Of the 3 members of Parliament that currently represent Greater Moncton, 2 belong to the Conservative Party and 1 belongs to the Liberal Party. The current federal MP for Moncton Riverview Dieppe is Robert Goguen, as of the 2011 federal election. Education. Separate Anglophone and Francophone school boards administer Greater Moncton's 35 public primary and secondary schools. The Francophone South School Board administers 10 schools in the Moncton area. The Anglophone East School Board administers 25 schools in Greater Moncton. There are 4 Anglophone high schools in the Metro Moncton area: Moncton High School, Harrison Trimble High School, Berners McNaughton High School, and Riverview High School. The area's Francophone high schools are a Pernille Cole Matthew Martin and a Pernille Cole Ladissa Copyright-E. 4 universities have campuses in the Greater Moncton region. The Université Copyright de Moncton is a publicly funded provincial comprehensive university and is the largest French-language university in Canada outside of Quebec. The Moncton campus enrolls over 4,000 students and offers a variety of undergraduate and postgraduate degree programs, including a School of Law as well as a number of health sciences disciplines including an MD degree program. Crandall University is a private undergraduate liberal arts university affiliated with the Convention of Atlantic Baptist Churches that enrolls about 800 students. It offers degrees in arts, science, education, business, and religious studies. Crandall is partway through a $24 million expansion to the campus which began in 2009 and will see 3 new buildings constructed, allowing enrollment to increase to 1,200 students. The University of New Brunswick is a small satellite health sciences campus located at the Moncton Hospital that offers degrees in nursing and medical X-ray technology to over 300 students. The Dalhousie NB medical training programs sees about 25 medical students and residents based at the Moncton Hospital as well. Mount Allison University is a publicly funded principally undergraduate liberal arts university, currently ranked by Maclean's magazine as Canada's top undergraduate university. Mount Allison University is located about a half-hour from downtown Moncton in nearby Sackville. Mount Allison enrolls nearly 2,500 students and offers degrees in arts, fine arts, music, commerce, and science. Mount Allison also provides first-year and extension university courses in Moncton and has developed a formal affiliation with the Moncton Flight College to allow for a bachelor's degree in aviation. Moncton is also home to 2 campuses of the New Brunswick Community College system. The English-language New Brunswick Community College, Moncton is the largest campus in the NBCC system with an enrollment of over 1,600 full-time students and also hundreds of part-time students. It provides training in over 30 different trades and technology disciplines. A major $20 million expansion refurbishment of the campus has recently been completed which, amongst other things, has allowed construction of a new academic building for the business program. The French-language college Communautaire du Nouveau Brunswick, Dieppe, provides similar training for the trades and technology sectors. Moncton also has 6 private vocational schools that offer practical training in a variety of fields. The Atlantic Business College offers a variety of business, paramedical and paralegal programs. The Atlantic Paramedic Academy, operated by MedAVMs, is a Canadian Medical Association accredited school providing training in primary and advanced care paramedicine. It is also home to the Advanced Emergent Care Program of the Department of National Defence. Eastern College has a campus in Moncton. Operating for over 25 years, they offer 40 different programs at 7 different campuses in Atlantic Canada. Programs are offered in the areas of business and administration, art and design, healthcare, social sciences and justice, tourism and hospitality, and trades. Moncton Flight College is one of Canada's oldest, largest, and most prestigious flight schools. Mackenzie College is a visual arts institution specializing in graphic design, digital media, and animation. Alton College, New Brunswick's oldest private college, provides training in a variety of business, paramedical, dental sciences, pharmacy, veterinary, youth care and paralegal programs. A new campus has just been constructed off of Vaughan Harvey Boulevard in central Moncton. Media. Moncton's daily newspaper is the Times and Transcript, which has the highest circulation of any daily newspaper in New Brunswick. More than 60% of city households subscribe daily, and more than 90% of Moncton residents read the Times and Transcript at least once a week. The city's other publications include, Here Moncton, a free weekly publication offering a more youthful perspective on local news, and L'Acadie Nouvelle, a French newspaper published in Carrickets in northern New Brunswick. There are 16 broadcast radio stations in the city covering a variety of genres and interests, all on the FM dial. 10 of these stations are English and 6 are French. Rogers Cable has its provincial headquarters and main production facilities in Moncton and broadcasts on 2 community channels, Cable 9 in French and Cable 10 in English. The French-language arm of the CBC, Radio Canada, maintains its Atlantic Canadian headquarters in Moncton. There are 3 other broadcast television stations in Moncton, and these represent all of the major national networks. Transportation. Air. Moncton is served by the Greater Moncton International Airport. A new airport terminal with an international arrivals area was opened in 2002 by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The GMIA handles about 615,000 passengers per year, making it the second busiest airport in the Maritime Provinces in terms of passenger volume. The GMIA is also the 10th busiest airport in Canada in terms of aircraft movements. Regular scheduled destinations include Halifax, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto and Hamilton. Scheduled service providers include Air Canada Express, WestJet and Porter Airlines. Seasonal direct air service is provided to destinations in Cuba, Mexico, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and Florida, with operators including Sunwing Airlines, Air Transat, and WestJet. FedEx, UPS, and Purolator all have their Atlantic Canadian air cargo bases at the facility. The GMIA is the home of the Moncton Flight College, the largest pilot training institution in Canada, and is also the base for the regional RCMP Air Service, the New Brunswick Air Ambulance Service into the Regional Transport Canada hangar and depot. There is a second smaller aerodrome near Elmwood Drive. McEwen Airfield is a private airstrip used for general aviation. Skydive Moncton operates the province's only nationally certified sports parachute club out of this facility. The Moncton Area Control Centre is one of only 7 regional air traffic control centres in Canada. This centre monitors over 430,000 flights a year, 80% of which are either entering or leaving North American airspace. Railways. Freight rail transportation in Moncton is provided by Canadian National Railway. Although the presence of the CMA in Moncton has diminished greatly since the 1970s, the railway still maintains a large classification yard and intermodal facility in the west end of the city, and the regional headquarters for Atlantic Canada is still located here as well. Passenger rail transportation is provided by Via Rail Canada, with their train The Ocean serving the Moncton railway station 3 days per week to Halifax and to Montreal. The downtown Via station has been recently refurbished and also serves as the terminal for the Maritime bus intercity bus service. Highways. Moncton lies on Route 2 of the Trans-Canada Highway, which leads to Nova Scotia in the east and to Fredericton and Quebec in the west. Route 15 intersects Route 2 at the eastern outskirts of Moncton, heads northeast leading to Kodiak and northern New Brunswick. Route 16 connects to Route 15 at Kodiak and leads to Port Elgin and Prince Edward Island. Route 1 intersects Route 2 approximately 15 kilometers west of the city and leads to St. John and the U.S. border. Wheeler Boulevard serves as an internal ring road, extending from the Petitcodiac River Causeway to Dieppe before exiting the city and heading for Kodiak. Inside the city it is an expressway bounded at either end by traffic circles. Urban transit. The Metro Moncton area is served by Kodiak Transpo, which is operated by the City of Moncton. It operates 40 buses on 19 routes throughout Moncton, Dieppe, and Riverview. Intercity bus. Maritime bus provides intercity service to the region. Moncton is the largest hub in the system. All other major centres in New Brunswick, as well as Charlottetown, Halifax, and Truro are served out of the Moncton terminal. Military. Aside from locally formed militia units, the military did not have a significant presence in the Moncton area until the beginning of the Second World War. In 1940, a large military supply base was constructed on a railway spur line north of downtown next to the CNR shops. This base served as the main supply depot for the large wartime military establishment in the Maritimes. In addition, 2 Commonwealth Air Training Plan bases were also built in the Moncton area during the war, No. 8 Service Flying Training School, RCAF, and No. 31 Personnel Depot, RAF. The RCAF also operated No. 5 Supply Depot in Moncton. A naval listening station was also constructed in Coverdale in 1941 to help in coordinating radar activities in the North Atlantic. Military flight training in the Moncton area terminated at the end of World War II and the Naval Listening Station closed in 1971. CFB Moncton remained open to supply the maritime military establishment until just after the end of the Cold War. With the closure of CFB Moncton in the early 1990s, the military presence in Moncton has been significantly reduced. The northern portion of the former base property has been turned over to the Canada Lands Corporation and is slowly being redeveloped. The southern part of the former base remains an active DND property and is now termed the Moncton Garrison. It is affiliated with CFB Gagetown. Resident components of the garrison include the 1 Engineer Support Unit, Regular Force. The garrison also houses the 37 Canadian Brigade Group Headquarters and one of the 37 Brigade's constituent units. The 8th Canadian Hussars, which is an armoured reconnaissance regiment. 3 Area Support Unit Det Moncton, and 42 Canadian Forces Health Services Centre Det Moncton provide logistical support for the base. In 2013, the last regular forces units left the Moncton base, but the reserve units remain active and Moncton remains the 37 Canadian Brigade Unit headquarters. Health facilities. There are 2 major regional referral and teaching hospitals in Moncton. The Moncton Hospital has approximately 400 active treatment beds and is affiliated with Dalhousie University Medical School. It is presently home to the Northumberland Family Medicine Residency Training Program and is a site for 3rd and 4th year clinical training for medical students in the Dalhousie Medicine New Brunswick Training Program. The hospital also hosts UNB degree programs in nursing and medical X-ray technology and professional internships in fields such as dietetics. Specialized medical services at the hospital include neurosurgery, peripheral and neurointerventional radiology, vascular surgery, thoracic surgery, orthopedics, trauma, burn unit, medical oncology, neonatal intensive care, and adolescent psychiatry. A $48 a million expansion to the hospital was completed in 2009 and contains a new laboratory, ambulatory care center, and Provincial Level 1 Trauma Centre. A new oncology clinic will be built at the hospital, with completion expected in 2014. The Moncton Hospital is managed by the Horizon Health Network. The Dr. Georges L. Dumont University Hospital Centre also has about 400 beds and hosts a medical training program through the local CFMNB and Distant Université Copyright de Sherbrooke Medical School. There are also degree programs in nursing, medical X-ray technology, medical laboratory technology and inhalotherapy which are administered by UDM's specialized medical services include medical oncology, radiation oncology, orthopedics, vascular surgery, and nephrology. A cardiac cath lab is being studied for the hospital and a new PET-CT scanner was recently installed. A future $75 million expansion for ambulatory care, expanded surgery suites, and medical training is also planned. The hospital has an affiliation with the Moncton-based Atlantic Cancer Research Institute. This hospital is managed by Vital a Copyright Health Network. Maclean's magazine has recently stated that Moncton is the best healthcare facilities of any of the smaller-sized regional cities in Canada. Notable residents. Moncton has been the home of a number of notable people, including National Hockey League Hall of Famer and NHL scoring champion Gordie Drillon, world and Olympic champion curler Russ Howard, the distinguished literary critic and theorist Northrop Frye, the former Governor-General of Canada Roma Copyright Ola Blanc, and former Supreme Court Justice Ivan Cleveland Rand, developer of the RAND formula and Canada's representative on the UNSCOP Commission. Rob Wells, the actor who plays Ricky on the showcase hit comedy Trailer Park Boys hails from Moncton, along with Chris Lee, Julie Doran, an indie rock musician and Holly Dinard the actress who plays Nicole Miller on the CTV series Whistler. Harry Curry, noted Canadian conductor, musician, educator, journalist and author was born in Moncton and graduated from MHS. Antonine Maillet a francophone author, recipient of the Order of Canada and the Prix Goncourt, the highest honour in francophone literature, is also from Moncton. France Daigle, another acclaimed Acadian novelist and playwright, was born and resides in Moncton, and is noted for her pioneering use of kayak in Acadian literature, was the recipient of the 2012 Governor-General's Literary Prize in French Fiction, for her novel Pour Zahar. In popular culture, Moncton is mentioned several times in the 1961 Twilight Zone episode The Odyssey of Flight 33, in which the lost aircraft desperately tries to contact Moncton Air Traffic Control, as well as the air traffic control in Gander and Boston. Moncton is briefly mentioned in the movie Taking Lives starring Angelina Jolie, when the killer boards a train from Montreal to Moncton. The title of the Bare Naked Ladies song Enid was inspired by Enid La copyright Gare, a waitress at Spanky's pub in Moncton. The band found it interesting that Enid spelled backwards is Dine. However, the song is not actually about her. The title of I Mother Earth's song Shortcut to Moncton on the album Scenery and Fish was inspired by a highway sign on the Trans-Canada Highway that points to the old Fredericton Road that says, Shortcut to Moncton. The Trailer Park Boys episodes Propane, and Working Man mention Moncton several times, as does the episode The Microphone Assassin. The Moncton Area Control Center is mentioned in numerous television documentaries regarding the Swiss Air Flight 111, which crashed into the Atlantic Ocean on 2 September 1998, 8 kilometers from shore, roughly equidistant from the tiny fishing and tourist communities of Peggy's Cove and Bayswater, Nova Scotia. Miscellaneous Facts: Stuyvesant has a major street named after the city of Moncton. This is because the founder of this seaside community, which is today part of the municipality of Richmond, British Columbia, was Manoah Steeves, originally from Moncton. Likewise, Winnipeg has a Moncton Avenue. See also: List of communities in New Brunswick, List of neighbourhoods in Moncton, History of Moncton, Riverview, Dieppe, Ridings History of Moncton, Dieppe and Riverview, Greater Moncton, Petitcodiac River, References, Notes. Bibliography, Laracy, Edward. The First 100, A Story of the First 100 Years of Moncton's Existence. Moncton Publishing Company. Asina Booooeeqhja, Mackham, Lloyd A. History of Moncton Town and City 1855 to 1965. Moncton Publishing Company. Asina Booooe UFOa, Bowdrow, Amy. The Story of the Acadians. Pelican Publishing Company. ISBN A0-911116-30-3 Laracy, Edward. Resurgo, The History of Moncton from 1890 to 1990. City of Moncton. ISBN A0-9694634-2-1 Walls, Martha. New Brunswick Book of Everything. McIntyre Purcell Publishing Incorporated. ISBN A0-9738063-2 Exeter, Merlin, Kate. Trails of Greater Moncton. Goose Lane Editions. ISBN A0-86492-349 Exeter. External links, Official City of Moncton website, gomoncton.com, Greater Moncton Chamber of Commerce.